Banh Mi. On today's episode, I'm going to show you how to do a classic brisket-style pork belly, and we're going to make it into a Banh Mi sandwich.
Have you ever wondered how to get the most out of your pit boss? Welcome to Fully Loaded, where I teach you how to unlock the full potential of your pit boss grill. Learn new recipes and pick up strategies to cook full meals. Load those grills to the max and unleash flavor like never before with expert tips and tricks. Pit Boss Fully Loaded is your ultimate grilling guide.
All right, folks, welcome back to another episode of Fully Loaded. Today we're going to be making a brisket-style pork belly, and with that pork belly, when it's finished, we're going to be making a Vietnamese-style sandwich called the Banh Mi. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, folks, so what we have here is about a 3.5 pound piece of pork belly. It's about a third of a pork belly. You can get this from your local butcher or local grocer. Sometimes you'll see them, they'll have it on sale. Today we're going to be using sriracha as our binder. And then our rub of choice is going to be our sweet heat. It should go well with our sandwich combination today. And so again, when we use a binder, a little bit goes a long way. I like to dry the belly off of any extra liquids, or albumin, as I would like to say, before we add our binder. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of sriracha. I'm liking this too much, man. Just a nice little even coat. Not too much on all sides. Now we can move into our dry rub. Sweet heat. Nice little generous even coat on all sides. Alright, I'll flip that back over. Alright, now that we're at this point, we're going to go ahead and insert our temperature probe and place it on the upper rack of our competition series smoker today. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're just going to want to insert our temperature probe in the very center, the thickest point. Now we can place it on the upper rack of our smoker. Notice that I do have a drip tray on the grill. This makes for an easy cleanup. So we're just going to go pop it right on the center right here. Okay, cooking temperatures, brisket-style pork belly. Essentially what we're doing is that we're taking a raw pork belly and we're gonna be smoking and braising it just like how we would a brisket. And so internal temperature on the smoke, we're gonna go to about 165 degrees before we remove it from the grill and wrap it in our Pit Boss butcher paper. Then we're gonna place it back on the grill, raise our temperature to about 300 degrees, and we're gonna go to an internal temperature of about 205 before we let it rest. All right, guys, it's been about 2 hours. We have finally reached our internal temperature of about 165 degrees. Now we're gonna move into the wrap process. And so I'm gonna pull out a nice sheet of butcher paper. We're gonna remove our pork belly and place it inside the butcher paper, and we're gonna baste it with the drippings from our pan that's on our grill. Then we're gonna wrap and put it right back on the grill and continue to move forward on this cook. There we go. Nice wide spatula. Oh yeah. Don't want to let any of that go to waste. All right. Wrap it as tight as possible. Just like so. Now we're going to place it back on the grill. We're going to place our temperature probe in the thickest part of the belly. We're going to carry it over to 205 degrees. That we increased our temperature to about 300 degrees. Should be somewhere around an hour to an hour and a half. We're going to remove it at 205 degrees and we're going to let it rest for about 45 minutes before we get right into our sandwich. Stay tuned, folks. All right, folks, we've reached our internal temperature of 205 degrees. We're gonna remove our pork belly from the smoker and we're gonna let it rest in this pan for about 45 minutes. Then we're gonna get right into making our banh mi sandwich. Let's get it. I'm gonna remove the drip tray and the upper rack because we're gonna be using the bottom grate to put a nice charred toast on our French bread for our sandwich today. All right, while we're letting our pork belly rest, we're gonna get right into the foundation and the construction of our banh mi sandwich. So what I'm gonna do first is that I'm gonna take these French loaves, they're about 14 ounces. You can get them from your local Walmart. I'm just gonna toast them, slightly char them on both sides of the bun, and then we can move into assembling our salad, which is gonna go over the top of our sliced pork belly, and then we'll slice our pork belly and get this one done. All right, so first, I've already had split these. Split them down the center the best way you can. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's all edible. Right. There we go. So we're just going to put these on the bottom grate, and we're just going to monitor them. Again, a little bit of char is okay. This is going to add a layer of flavor. Let that go right there. All right, now we're going to assemble the salad that's going to go on our sandwich. Classically, you would have pickled carrots and cucumbers, radish and jalapeno and some cilantro. I'm not pickling the cucumber. I did make a very tasty ginger vinaigrette that we're going to be dressing our salad before we put it on the sandwich. So we're going to move right into the cucumber. We're going to do about possibly somewhere around 2 cups of the shaved cucumber. And really all I did here is that I just took a peeler and I just peeled it all the way around the seed pod. And so it makes the little ribbons like this. I did the same with the carrots as well. So about equal parts cucumber and carrot. Got a handful of some iced radish. Sliced jalapeno is a must on a banh mi sandwich. Probably about 2 jalapenos sliced worth. I also like to add a little bit of green onion and toasted sesame seed. Probably about 2 or 3 green onions worth. A few toasted sesame seeds. And the recipe to our ginger vinaigrette you can find in the description. It's just a broken vinaigrette, rice vinegar, a little bit of honey, some salad oil, a little bit of sesame oil. We're just gonna give it a nice little light toss and let that kind of marinate a little bit. Look at that, deliciousness. Got to keep an eye on our French bread. Again, we're just looking to get a nice little toast on there. It's okay if you char it a little bit. All right, folks, we're gonna take our toasted French bread off. I'm gonna show you exactly what we're looking for. So it's okay if you got a little bit of char on there. That's kind of what you want. It kind of adds a layer of flavor. Same thing here. Just like that. Nice and soft and crispy on the inside. Just like so. All right, now that we got our bread toasted, we're gonna move right into slicing our pork belly. Pork belly's been resting for about 45 minutes. It's the moment we've all been waiting for. Oh yeah. Absolutely perfect. Nice. So what we're just gonna do, we're just gonna use our carving knife and fork. We're just gonna slice it nice and thin so we can assemble our sandwich. You gotta taste the product, folks.
Hey guys, if you guys have been watching this far, make sure you comment Banh Mi down below and check out the descriptions where you can find your own promo code to get a discount on your very own roll of Pit Boss butcher paper.
All right, folks. Now it's time to assemble this sandwich. We're gonna start on the bottom layer, sriracha aioli. Find the recipe in the description. So we're just gonna put a nice little healthy layer of that on both sides of the bottoms. QP, sriracha, a little bit of soy, some chopped basil, really good stuff. So now I'm just gonna kind of layer the pork belly to each half of the sandwich. All right, there we go. Now we're gonna move right into that beautiful little vegetable salad we made. Just put a little bit of that right over the top of each one. Right, and right before we cap it, go a little bit more of the aioli over the top. It's the yummy factor. All right. All right, there we go. Now we're just gonna slice these things and plate them up on a nice little platter, and then we can serve the party. And there you have it, folks. A classic brisket-style pork belly made into a Vietnamese-style banh mi sandwich. Well, it's time to go in for that bite. Make sure you like and subscribe, comment below what you'd like to see in future episodes, and we'll see you next time on Fully Loaded.